Hello, this is KD0 bringing a live free commentary on Infinite IO. This is program, and this is Letter War June, the grand finals. Yes, it's a grand final between the two Soviet players. One of them has the name of Suck or Die, very aggressive name, and the other one's name is Tangu. Wow, what an intriguing combination of name and faction. Yes, indeed, and for the sake of my memory, if I try to memorize their names, my brain will hurt too much and therefore not be able to cast. So I'm just going to call them according to the corresponding colors. So this is the yellow Soviet player who has opened with a barrack first into one refinery. It seems he's not opting to go for any sort of crash crane strategy or anything like that. And oh, we see the green Soviet player is opening with the exact same build. He's not opting to do anything too crazy, like what I said, going for a crusher grand strategy, and he is going to occupy the all derricks at his side of the map, and so is the yellow Soviet player. We see a slight battle for map control happening in the center of the map right there. It's not so much of a big deal since neither of the player really has any units to do anything decisive to win or lose the game, but we are going to be witnessing their transitions and indeed what they would be. It seems that a second refinery are the choices for both of the players, and we see the yellow Soviet player Tangu has opted to go for a refinery first, then a factory, whereby the green Soviet player Suck or Die has opted to go for a factory first, looking to be more aggressive with his max and build a refinery following that. And as a direct result of that, he has more units on the field right now, but what is his economy looking like? His economy is basically non-existent because he's spending all his money too quickly, so his money is very low, whereby the yellow Soviet player is opting to take up. Oh my god, this could be the game-turning decision of the game right there, because he's opted to take up, so he's not going to have the units necessary to defend his base should the green Soviet player Suck or Die decide to do a all-in push. And we see that, well, an all-in push is looking fairly unlikely, since his army is primarily consisting of infantries, which will melt pretty quickly to sickles. And now that the yellow Soviet player Tangu does have two sickles, it's going to do pretty effectively against these infantries. However, you've got to count in the factor of the terror drones, which are very effective against any sort of max, and sickles do count as max. Very interesting game design decision right there. And we see the green Soviet player Suck or Die is continuing to produce units out of this factory, and now he has take up to tier 2 behind his attack, and he still has a large number of units at his opponent's base. Now the situation for our yellow Soviet player Tangu is looking very bleak. Let's see if he can put out a miracle defense. He's opting to stop building his tech building, which is the super reactor, and he is now constructing a barracks looking to produce some bears to take out those infantries to reduce the DPS being dealt to his factory right there. And we see the Tangu for the green Soviet player is in the red, so it's going to be pretty easily taken out by the yellow Tangu. Well, evidently in the yellow Tangu of the yellow Soviet player. And we see the terror drone even surviving the explosion. Just out of the wreckage he goes, and one of the initial hammer tanks does have the pleasure of sitting in his master's opponent's base doing nothing but switching to leacher bins, trying to do a bit of preliminary scouting. Well, not exactly scouting, he's just chilling out right there. And we see now that without a tech building, the yellow Soviet player is not able to produce any tank to counter the hammer tanks. The only thing he can do is to build enough sickles to kill the infantry, take out the support for the green Soviet, and then build the terror drones necessary to take out the tanks before his economy gets completely destroyed, which is being arranged by the green Soviet player right here. And The Green Soviet player is comfortably sitting on 2 refineries and applying pressure to his opponents via the tanks, which is now at the count of 2, and is now piling up his money, ready to expand again towards the center of the map, looking to take a 3rd refinery there, and the 2 tanks are still surviving inside of the yellow Soviet's main base, and is now looking to bring down the wall between you and victory. Yes, this is the correct analogy of that. And one of the tanks is going to scoop in the opening of the wall there, shooting away at the miners ore collector. But keep in mind that the secondary ability of the Soviet ore collector will make it one of, if not the most, heavily armored vehicle in the entire game. So this is looking pretty unlikely for the Green Soviet player to be able to take out this ore collector single-handedly just by this 1 tank. However, he has expanded to the center of the map right there. His 3rd refinery is being constructed, and without a matching refinery with his opponents, the yellow Soviet player Tangu is not likely to come back from this game, in my opinion. However, I have seen this particular player whose name is Tangu. Yes, it's one of my favorite units of the whole game. Yes. Come back from more bleaker or crazier situation, so it is definitely doable. I just don't know whether he can do it at this point of the game. He will have to be very, very effective with his unit, doing maximum efficiency to where it hurts to his opponents, such as the mineral line. Wow, I'm playing too much StarCraft to know. The mineral line, the resource line, yes. Or indeed the tech building right there, but I don't know if he would have enough to deal with that. Oh, he's decided to sell his factory, which is a very intriguing play indeed, and he's opting to take up. Why is that? Oh, perhaps he's thinking about guarding his base with the support of static defense and infantry, which are pretty effective, I would say. And go for attack first, then the factory, so that he would have a even footing as his opponent in terms of tech. And he's, well, I might say that from the situation he's in, he's actually doing quite a good job of both rebuilding his economy and trying to hold up his opponent's attack, but with a clever use of secret protocol and a very, very smart timing attack, the Green Soviet player is now going to do a fairly big amount of damage to his opponent's resource line once again with his tanks and air force, and he has to be careful not to fall into the trick of suicide attack by mines with these flank troopers, and indeed the well, I guess it doesn't have any terror drones, so I was running out of phrases there. 3 of the flank troopers not being able to take out this twin blade here, which is coming out of the air base with its companion twin blades from the Green Soviet player, now sitting on 3 refineries, massively out-resourcing his opponent, and he is looking to drop 2 bears. Whoa, this is ability that we rarely see used. Keep in mind that the secondary ability of twin blades is as the transportation device, which allows you to transport units, naturally. And oh, GG, the yellow Soviet player Tangu is GGing out of this game by selling all his buildings, which is a tradition in Red Alert 3. GG indeed, but pretty one-sided, I would say. Oh, what's that popping out? I'm not connected to the internet, of course I can't log in. Good game. I'm going to be casting the rest of the series as well. This is the grand final of Ladder War June, yes indeed, and there are 4 more games to come. You should have something else to expect. This game is similarly less than 6 minutes, a fairly short game, very, very enjoyable. Yeah, that's about as much comment as I will give outside of the game commentary. I will see you in the next few games.